sorry about that, but I just, my total plan today was to be at the county arena and do this, but they have to close it like at 1. They're getting ready for high school rodeo this weekend, so there's a lot of setup to be done. And my office meeting this morning went longer than it should have, so I did not make it down there. So here we are. But at home, again, I did have him down there yesterday. It was my first time hauling him down there, and I thought he did just perfectly fine. I was not unhappy with him. Especially for him and I's first trip together, I thought it went very well. Did not set the camera up yesterday because I was planning on going back down today. And it was after a race yesterday and it was late. Anyhow, here we are today. So he's still doing really well. I just want to talk about a couple things. Like when he first came in, he didn't want to take that right lead, and we haven't missed the right lead in a long time. But there's still something kind of funky to the right, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if he needs a chiropractic adjustment. I know his right hind, his hock has a little twist to it when he steps, so he could soar up in the hocks very easily because of that. I'm not saying that's what it is, I'm just throwing out ideas. This right front to me feels just a little bit short right now, but he did just have a trim. I talked to your dad about that, and I think we're gonna go with putting shoes on and see how that does. It's so subtle that I can't quite pinpoint it, but he just seems like a little jabby and a little short steppy in this right front. But the other thing I noticed, like when I'm shaping him to the right, is he'll twist under his jaw quite a bit. I mean, that really, it could be teeth. He could need something done with his teeth. It could be chiropractic. Again, it could be hock or front right, foot. Those are all things I would probably investigate with him because he's not equal left to right. Left to right is real smooth and real round, and to the right, it's getting noticeably more awkward. When he came in, he was awkward to the right, but we worked through some initial training issues and got better. Now it feels like we're just getting funny again to the right, like he's not maintaining his shape to the right in an easy way. So with that said, I put him in this German Martingale today, which is the very first time I've had him in it. I just loped a few circles and he felt just fine in it, so hopefully we get along okay. If I don't like it, I'll go change it. But this is his first time in this setup. And a lot of this is because when I go to shape him to the right, he does fight me a little bit with his nose. And there's just something a little odd that direction. And so I thought I'd put this tool on to try and help that out. Put my gloves up. What is the bird walking about? So I'm going to just start by randomly looping all the same direction, but I've got to incorporate the barrels. Because my arena is so tight to the rails down here, I'm going to go up here and start with himself somehow. It could be that right hop. It's almost like he's not stepping up to behind it. So he's overcompensating with his butt end. That was a really nice one. One more. So I was definitely having to work pretty hard for that with my legs because I can't hold the stress, like I don't want them falling in or floating out. And as these racehorses are typically, they can float sideways really easy. Something to do, I think, with the track training, but I know when they're being ponied, like down the warm-up stretch and whatever, they've got their butts kind of kicked out, they're kind of moving sideways, and so I just think that kind of, they get into some habits of moving that way, and then when you're riding them, they tend to want to jig and float in ways that aren't ideal. So I spend a lot of time really with both my legs evenly, kind of pushing them up through the very center to keep everything moving this direction. So I've always been taught the energy should come out the center of your chest and the center of their chest. So everything should be moving forward out of the center of your chest. And so he has a tendency to get a little light hind-ended or a little floaty. Sometimes he even gets kind of stiffer and flat with the shoulders. So keeping him up and moving through the center of his chest is just, it's something you really got to focus on with him, because it's not really his tendency to just carry himself that way. It's like I compare him to Warpath a lot because they're in the same stage of training, and there's some things he's like smarter about, and then but Warpath carries himself upright so much more easy. This guy's a little more fishy underneath you, a little more squirrely. Squirrely is more of a term I use than fishy, but you can really feel his body moving underneath you, and you can work a little harder to hold it up. Now, when he'll develop and get stronger, then you won't have to do so much for him, but in these early stages, you have to do more. I'm just going to start over here and go to the left now. You'll see he's such a better mover this direction. I hope I don't make a liar out of me, but he's a better mover this direction. He's making a liar out of me. He's stupid. just made me think of one more thing to share, and that is how much I like the double backs, which I'll show you some double backs on some straight throughs. I mean, he's so much more balanced to the left, and it's a little bit of an easier ride, but he does really know how to use his shoulders. Like, I think you have to watch him, he'll use his shoulders more than his hind end, is my point. Like, it's good that he knows how to pull with his shoulders, but I also need him to really be balanced when he goes in there. So every once in a while, if I just drop him too much and I make an error in my feel, then he'll throw his shoulder down a little too much, and then you're in a bad situation where you're low. So you've got to keep him supported so that everything stays up and moving. Now let's get to the double back. So if a horse is in the proper position to leave the barrel, they should be able to step right back in and make another turn effortlessly. If they're not in the correct position to leave the barrel and you go to step back in for a double back, they won't be able to do it. They'll be out of whack. And that happens if they get too flat in their ribs or too flat in their body, or they're just not in the right position, like they don't have the right amount of shape. If they're trying to rush out of a turn and leave it too soon, that can also cause them to be in a bad position, which if they're trying to leave a turn too soon, then it's really hard work to double them back. But if they're leaving where they should, you should be able to touch that rein and step right back into that turn and double that turn back without any argument from the horse. So I'm going to go through and do some double backs, and we'll see where he's at. I'm okay with that. There were a couple times it felt a little stiff and a little like jerky, but he was able to go right back in without a whole lot of resistance. So that was okay with me. I'd like it to smooth out, and I think it will smooth out in bigger pens. When you're driving up into that fence like that, and I know I've said this a million times, there's not a lot of good about it. It's great to get one turning, but it really gets one kind of drawn back also, and then you lose your freedom in it. But I've trained a lot of horses in this pen, and it all works out. But it's really important at this stage that they get out of this particular arena some. So I'm not doing fly and lead changes between first and second on him yet, and there's not a lot of room in here to even get that lead change between first and second. But all he's done is simple lead changes. Some people don't worry about leads and they make them find their leads, but my theory is set them up for success for the turn, so I'm pretty picky about leads. So I will manually break them down and change that lead. He's getting better and better about the lead change, and he's doing it like quicker, like you want to do it within a step to a step and a half. And he's getting there where he's getting that lead change pretty quick. And then eventually, especially when I have more room, I won't break him down. I'll just push him up and ask, and hopefully that flying lead change will be in there pretty easily. But even last night at the county arena, when I had more room, he was not ready for the flying lead change at the speeds we were working. The more momentum you're working at, the easier it is to nail that lead change. But when you're drawn back at these low levels, it's harder to get that lead change to happen unless their reining horse broke. So as of even last night, with all the more room I had, I still had to break him down for a simple lead change, first to second. I'm just going to make a couple passes through so you can see what he's looking like. I smooth all that out. He was tight, but it was choppy. Stand up and move up. So this reminded me of something else he does kind of do, and it's why I had to do what I do. So when he first wants to take that turn and he's falling into the turn, he's so smart that he really wants to get in on the turn. So I take him like into a little bigger circle on the back side, and then I return it closer to it. And the reason for that big circle is to make him stand up and move forward. Then once he's standing up and moving forward, then I go back around it a second time in a tighter position. But sometimes the first time he goes to go tight, he falls in too much. How about the switch? I actually just know I did that all with the wrong rein even. So I imagine I look like a dork, but he did his job. I didn't even need the reins too much. I'm going to walk him a lap, let him catch a little air and go again. I mean, that's pretty representative of where he's at. I could have jockeyed that better is all I'm saying. All we're going to do today. That's really, truly, absolutely representative of where he's at. So I like it when a horse shows exactly where they are.